And welcome back to Chicago Bulls Insider. Today, we are talking about NBA draft prospect Rasheer Fleming, and we're going to be talking about why the Chicago Bulls should certainly consider him in this upcoming draft. And so before we go ahead and we jump into it, I first want to remind you to slam dunk on that subscribe button, just like Modest Mozilla slam dunks in games. And so in exchange for slamming on that subscribe button, I'm going to give you nothing but daily content around the Chicago Bulls. So make sure that you hit that subscribe, you hit that like button, and you join the Chicago Bulls Insider family as we talk nothing but Chicago Bulls basketball. And so with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's jump into it. We are looking at NBA draft prospect Rasheer Fleming out of St. Joe's. And so if you have not got a chance to see him, he definitely looks like a player that is ready to be a two-way rotational player that will certainly impact whoever drafts him. And so he is 6'9" with a 7'5" wingspan at 240. And I think that what I love most about him is he is a player that just got progressively better as his college career went on. And so let's go ahead, let's jump into the numbers, and then let's jump into the things that he does well. And so, you will see first and foremost, the scoring went up since he became a freshman there at St. Joe's. So you love that. He got up to 14.7 points a game. And then when you look at the steals, 1.4 steals a game, 1.5 blocks a game, 1.3 assists a game, 8.5 rebounds a game. He shot 74.3% from the free throw line, 39% from three, and 53.1 from the field. So you definitely see that he can certainly shoot the three ball, good free throw percentages as well, and solid from the field. So that's all good. You love to see that. And then you like to see the defensive contributions that he can bring to a team, which we're going to talk about that here in a moment. So let's start with the things that he does well on the offensive end. And so the first thing when you're looking at his highlights, you will see a guy that is terrific off of the pick and roll. I think that he's terrific there. He sets a nice screen. He makes himself available to where he can get to a spot up shot. And so that is his thing, is really being a catch and shoot type of player. And so he sets great screens and he pops well off of that. And so that is point number one. Great screens, great pops on that. Next, look, I think that he's terrific again at the catch and shoot. I think that when you look at just what he did from a percentage standpoint, you will see a player that certainly will immediately impact any NBA club that he goes to, because he shot 41% on catch and shoots from three per synergy here. And so that is incredible shooting on catch and shoots. And so this is a guy that, look, if you get him in a catch and shoot situation, you can count it. So you love that. Next, I think that I love the way that St. Joe's really featured him, because he came off of pin downs and stuff like that. So you could definitely tell that he's pretty fluent that way. He looks like a player that he understands rotations and stuff like that. And so he's a guy that, look, if your guard is penetrating the lane and is breaking down the defense, I think that you can count on Rasheer Fleming to get to the right spot, make himself available for a three-point shot. Next with him, I think his cutting ability. I thought his cutting ability was definitely something that you love about his game. Like, I think he's a player that he's going to cut at the right space, the right time, and get himself available for a highlight type of reel. You can see the athleticism with him. He's terrific as far as being in the open floor and being a big-time finisher there. So you really see the athleticism, and what he's able to do. And so I love that he's not a guy that's just stationary. So you do like that. And so next, with his playmaking ability, and so you see that the assists were not that high for him, just 1.3 assists. Now, he will make the basic passes and stuff like that. It's not anything that's going to be a huge flare or anything like that. But I do like the fact that he's pretty solid with the dribble handoffs. He's probably going to be a guy that he can be the type of top of the key, 4 or 5 type of hub for you that way. Next thing, I think he does a great job as far as drawing kicks. And so he will make the right play off of that. He'll force a double and then he'll kick out or get the rotation going to get the basketball to the right person to score. So you do love that about him. I think he could be maybe more of a playmaker. That's probably going to lead into the next point when we talk about just the things that he has to work on. But, he does show that he certainly has some playmaking ability, but very basic at this point. So next with his defense, I think his defense is something that you absolutely love. This is a guy that has the lateral quickness to really guard, I think, anything from 1 to 4. Maybe you can even throw him on a 5, see how strong he is, but definitely has the lateral quickness to do that. You're not just going to have to put him into drop coverage. I think he's going to be able to hold his own that way. Here's a guy with a high motor that competes a lot. And I think that he uses his length very well, because when you're coming at him, he knows how to use just his length to affect the shot that way. He doesn't seem to be overpowered as much as well, which lets me know that he's pretty strong. He probably has a good base there defensively. And so you never really catch him out of position defensively. That's what I loved about just looking at his highlights and things like that. Like, he looks like he's going to be a solid defender both on and off the ball. A lot of these guys we talk about, they're good off ball. Some are good on ball. No, he looks like he can be good in both situations. He's going to be an active defender both on and off the ball. He's going to compete his tail off. He looks like he could just be an immediate impact for you that way, even if he's not scoring the basketball. And so next, we start to look at his weaknesses here. And so with the weaknesses, as far as shooting the basketball, we just talked about how good he is in catch and shoot situations. But when he's guarded, he only shot 31.3% from downtown. So that's something that he would have to get better at, making contested jump shots. Next, shot creation. And so this is where it gets interesting for him, because this guy has a ton of athletic ability, but you can just tell his handle is not that advanced. He's not as crafty. It doesn't seem like he has necessarily a deep bag. And you just wonder, if you put him into that situation, is he going to be a player that would excel into that? And so that is the question that I have there for Rasheer Fleming. Can he be more of a shot creator there at the next level? And then lastly, you look at the fact that he did go to a mid-major. And so you're wondering with the competition level, again, is it something that you wanted to see some more in that regards? But still, I think playing mid-major, I don't care. I think when you look at the highlights, you will see a player that immediately translates to the NBA. And so should the Chicago Bulls certainly take a look at him? Absolutely. I would say if the Bulls were to get Rasheer Fleming, you essentially are replacing, I think, Patrick Williams, because you wanted a player that could come in, knock down three-point shots, and defend at a high level. I think that Rasheer Fleming is going to be able to do that from day one. And I really think that his upside is kind of the real question mark there. Like I said, can he get a bit more crafty with his handle? Can he be a bit more of a shot creator? Because if he does that, I mean, the sky is the limit for Rasheer Fleming with that wingspan, the height, and just like I said, his strength and everything else. Like, it looks very good. But I just think immediately he's going to be a rotational player. But if the Bulls were to take a chance with him, I absolutely think that he would be your Patrick Williams replacement. And so currently he's slated to go later in the draft, a little bit later after the Chicago Bulls are picking here. And so, I think if they were to get him, it would be a situation where they would probably have to get back into the first round. I think he might be a little bit too high to take at 12, honestly speaking there. As far as his player comparisons here, too. And so one comparison that they gave him was a Taj Gibson that could knock down three-point shots, and I absolutely love that. And so I would hope to see that he could get to that type of player comparison. But for me, he reminds me of a JaMychal Green. I see a lot of JaMychal Green in him, and he's a solid role player, JaMychal Green, that's played here in the NBA. So I see a lot of that. Like I said, I think he's a player that he instantly can come in and be a contributor. And like I said, it would be huge. This is the ringer that says that he's like a Taj Gibson that can shoot three-point shots. And we know we love Taj Gibson. And so you can imagine if Taj can shoot three-pointers. And so I think you do see that with Rasheer Fleming. Like I said, I think that this would be a solid pick. I would not be mad at the Chicago Bulls if they drafted Rasheer Fleming. I think that you are legitimately getting a two-way player that has a ton of upside there. It's just, can he get to that upside? So anyway, let me know in the comments here what you guys are thinking. Should the Chicago Bulls take a chance on a guy like Rasheer Fleming? Would you like to see them maybe get back into the first round to go out there and get him? Once again, that all comes down to what AK is thinking. Is he thinking that aggressively to get back into the first round to go get a guy like that? Who knows what's going to happen? We'll find out come draft night. But anyway, you guys let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking. And as we always say, go Bulls, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.